Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the outer fringes of reality, where fact meets speculation, where paranoia meets illumination, where madness overlaps the fragile membrane of sanity. Do not be afraid. Open your eyes and open your minds to that region that lies beyond the realm of the known, that region we call the ExoZone. I am your host, Victor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me is my co-host and aficionado of all things fringe, the Nerdrotic Channel's great and mighty Gary Beekler. Gary, so feeling weird today?
Feeling very weird today, and thank you for that introduction. That was very nice. Hail, everyone. Welcome.
Hail.
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird. Well, we're going to do time travel, but I want to say hello to everyone in the chat here, all of our fellow exiles from civilization. We've got Tak O, Genius Fool, the Irrefutable, 0017335, Mitch Tebow. Hello, Mitch. Genarial 1, Mando Merck carries, Eric Hawk, Chris Swain, Rob Slevin, John Robertson, Wayne Grave, Al Bundy, J. Paula 821, Mary Ashmead, Chris Persia, Bionic Belly Button, Sandra and Raymond Feliciano. We've got Johnny Lyons, Joe Salazar, David Coleman, Agent Pepsi 1, Ben Pekark, Purple Lady, Gary McGregor, Captain Spire is here. Josh and Rebecca, the Momini, Draco Argentis, People's Front of Canada, Stevie Walker, Angry Panda, David Rayner, Lori Roberts, Stellar Heather. Hello, Stellar Heather. Paul Hickey, Cardinal Sin is in the house. People's Front of Canada, Heiress of Chaos, Mr. CCDV, David Rayner, Cast in the Shadows, Derek McManus, and Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen. Cast in the Shadows, Bill Stelzer, Josiah Clinch, my dear friend, and Basil the Pumpin' Seagull, Captain Laser, the Green Laser, and many, many more of the usual suspects, all gathered here for some strangeness in strange times.
Can I say one thing?
Go for it.
Screw the People's Front of Canada. I am a member of the Canadian People's Front, those twats.
Okay.
Sorry. Little Monty Python reference there.
Yes.
The Judean People's Front. We're part of the People's Front of Judea.
The People's Front of Judea. And Scottish Nerd is here. The United Front of Scotland. Sassy Marie. Howard Briones. Rewap 300. Angry Panda. Hell yes, I mentioned you, by God. And many, many, many more. All here to take refuge in a little bit of strangeness, a little bit of the weird side of life as we talk about time travel. I figured we would talk about time travel in the movies and talk about time travel possibly, in fact, if it happens. I don't know. I have great doubts about whether time travel is possible in actuality. I mean, what are your thoughts, Gary? What do you think about this whole time travel thing?
I think it's possible. I actually do. And hi, Mary Ashmead. Hello. Now there are arguments that if it happened, we'd know it. I think I'm right now. My theories change on it, but I still kind of stick to the string theory that it's possible, but you might be creating another reality when you splinter off when you go travel in time. I definitely do not prescribe to the Marvel Avengers Endgame theory of time travel. But,
right.
I think, I don't know about backwards. That one's tough, but forward.
Oh yeah. I think it's possible to travel to the future, but going back in time, I don't know. Now, I mean, cinematically, in the history of film, time travel has been kind of a staple of a lot of great episodes. For example, Star Trek's classic episode, The City on the Edge of Forever, which was an interesting episode. I mean, at least when they went back in time, when McCoy went back in time on a delusion from being injected with cortisone, he completely changed history. And outside the bubble of the Time Guardians influence, the whole universe had changed. There was no Enterprise anymore, and they were all stranded there. And they actually were inserted in time to try to undo what McCoy had inadvertently done.
Yep.
And that's kind of been the easy theme in cinema. We used to have things like the Terminator and T2, which really gets complicated when you've got a Terminator coming back in time trying to kill Sarah Connor to prevent John Connor from being born, prevent the human resistance from arising. Of course, the problem is if Skynet sends back the Terminator and the Terminator goes and he kills Sarah Connor, and John Connor is never born, then what would be the impetus to have sent him back?
Exactly. And wouldn't the universe just provide another John Connor at that point? Maybe. I mean, that's always been the argument about going back and killing the baby Yahtzee. So
good old Yahtzees.
Yeah, Yahtzee. So it's definitely it's a fun theory to play with for sure. You know what? It just takes power. I mean, the concept of it is in our tiny little brains now. So it would just take 1,000 years in the future when we're able to generate enough power to fold space. That's all.
Yes. Well, theoretically, but Nexus Knight 2 in the chat has a really good little comment here. He says, downsides of time traveling to the past, are time paradox and the butterfly effect. I think the most famous example of the butterfly effect in literature, anyway, in science fiction, was Ray Bradbury's story, The Sound of Thunder, which involved time travelers going back to the past, to the time of the dinosaurs, and killing dinosaurs. Now, big game hunters would basically go back. They had laid out this path that was floating over everything. It was levitating, so it wouldn't really touch anything. And hunters could go in there. They had identified dinosaurs that were about to die anyway, and they would allow the hunters to shoot the dinosaurs. Well, what happens, unfortunately, is some chicken shit, big man, buffalo, Bungalow Bill out there, sees a Tyrannosaurus Rex and freaks out and panics and runs off the fucking path and steps on a butterfly.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, what this does is it changes all of history. And it's a fascinating idea because, the problem is the smallest change would ripple out. It immediately would have almost no effect. In 10 years, more effect. In 20 years, more. 100 years, 1,000 years, it's gonna just like a pond, like a splash in a pond where the ripple gets much, much bigger as it expands. And that's a problem with any time travel story, period. I mean, McCoy not only kills Edith Keeler, but he says hello to people and he bumps into people. He helps serve soup in Edith Keeler's soup kitchen. All these things are going to have an effect. And it's which is kind of what quantum theory says as well, is that every single at least one variation of quantum theory suggests that events split off into all the different possibilities, and different universes split off according to those possibilities. So, if you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth first, or you go to the bathroom first, each one of those is a separate timeline. And so all possibilities are accounted for. Now, theoretically, what you were talking about is like breaking off a different timeline traveling. You can splinter off, and where you're traveling back is into a whole other universe. The very act of traveling backwards spawns off a parallel universe, and any changes you make are in that parallel universe. but you came from a different universe, so nothing in your universe gets altered. At least that's the theory. What do you think?
That's the theory. Yes, and nothing gets changed, so you get to experience that. And that's from Michio Kaku. That's I first heard that in Art Bell years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but years ago. And that one seems it's not fun though. It's not as fun as being able to go back and actually change your history. But as you just said, that would destroy everything, or would it? I mean, it's hard to say. That would really honestly tell us the nature of our reality, if you think about it. But because if one little thing, if stepping on a butterfly could actually change the universe, because then that would almost mean like things were preordained. It was a program. It was something. If one little thing could set it off that much, like stepping on a butterfly, because listen, there's flies that live in a day that nobody ever interacts with. But does that fly interact with another fly that creates interaction with another bug that might create interaction with a animal that creates interaction with a human? And yeah, I don't know. Or could there be situations where we change something and we just don't notice? Or it could be like the CERN thing and the Mandela effect.
Right.
I felt like I was going through the Mandela effect. Just to go in pop culture real quick with Shaban, because we keep hearing Shaban talking like he's the showrunner of Star Trek. I could have sworn he left. and people were asking me, I thought he left, and I'm all, I did too, and I started questioning it, and then I looked, and he's like staying on until the end of the season, but I could have sworn he left.
He left.
But apparently not. He's still there until season 2. But again, I read that article. I could have sworn he left the job, but apparently now the article states that he's there till season 2, till the beginning of season 2, and I'm like, well, maybe I just read that wrong. But
no, they're just gaslighting us. Yeah. All these articles are lies. I mean, they just come out and they make up shit, and it's all designed to gaslight us. I'm sure they still try to say that Section 31 is coming out. I want to know where the fuck season 2 of Star Trek Picard is going to come from when CBS doesn't have a pot to piss in right now. No. Where the stock is absolutely in the toilet, and the plunge started before this market correction. And how are they going to move forward with a show that isn't profitable on a streaming service that isn't profitable? So not profitable that they're going to try and roll it into a whole other streaming service that
they can't now.
Yeah. Well, is that because are they having to split off? I don't know.
Well, I don't know for sure, but any merger, not just this one, is based on sound financial ground. Like it's got to be the best move for the company. Now, this might still be the best move for the company. I'll say that. I mean, the government might let it go through anyway. Who knows? I'm sure it's the last thing they're thinking about right now. To be honest with you, it's Viacom and CBS. Like, who gives a shit? But right. I started questioning the nature of my reality when I heard that, because I could have sworn he was gone. But yeah, I hear him answering questions on Instagram and stuff, and antagonizing fans, and that's
okay. Well, he can consider my ass antagonized.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and do a little response. So, so there you go.
To it.
I just love it to death. How poor you must be in terms of self-regard and esteem and talent when you actually will go to the wall defending this excrement. Just defending. He is huffing his own farts and actually now believes that it smells like fucking jasmine because his like hired lackeys on the show tell him or something. I mean, I don't know how you can be proud of that garbage that got thrown up there. I don't know how you can hold your head high when all the fans are spitting with anger at how you have betrayed and destroyed Star Trek The Next Generation in Jean-Luc Picard, or JL as he's known now. Fuck you. You people, you deserve what you're getting. You absolutely deserve what you're getting. And I am going to fucking be bringing it. And so are you, man. We're both going to do it. This is bullshit. So yeah, you look, Everything's got to be profitable. Where the hell are they going to get this production off the ground? There's going to be a writer's strike, as I heard, whenever like things settle down, right? So even the writer's strike is delayed, but I don't think it's canceled.
It all, yeah. No, they're actually, you're starting to see people shift from canceling stuff to just moving it out a month now, as we get more, and we're not going to get it too into it, but as more information comes in, the more we know. We're just going to say that right there. And you could see them shifting. They did, Wonder Woman's going to come out, or no, something's coming out in August. They just got pushed back a week. And you're seeing less and less outright cancellations, and you're seeing more moving things around. And that's probably a sign of things to come. So no, I don't think the writer's strike will still be there, and they're going to be more worried than ever, because now there's a lot less cash to go around. A lot less.
That's right. So they're going to actually have to worry about if shit is profitable when they're making their bullshit little preachy social engineering crap that doesn't sell.
Well,
good luck with it.
The comic book industry is the harbinger of all things to come in entertainment. What's happening in entertainment right now happened 2 years ago in comics. And you're seeing these things repeat. And once you start to see cycles repeat, then that becomes a definitive reality.
Yes.
Yes. There's no more. Listen, the information war is still out there, but we are killing them now as far as the access media. They don't have a freaking pot to piss in or a leg to stand on this stuff now.
That's
We're getting real data coming in, and it's unquestionable, especially with comics. Absolutely unquestionable.
Absolutely. I have just been chastened by Purple Lady. Hello, Purple Lady, in the chat. She's saying, Harvey Zone, time travel? Yes, we got to talk about time travel. Thank you, Purple Lady. But we did, when Shaban pisses in your face in Variety, you're supposed to do something about it. Doesn't matter if you are going to talk about time travel. He's pissed in your face and you're supposed to do something about it. So anyway. Let's read some of these super chats, and then let's get into some of the potential of time travel in reality.
Yes.
Josiah Clinch. Hello, Josiah, with a $5 super chat. Bless you, Josiah. He says, so Harv, how is DC's cooking? Okay, how bad are the tacos? I sent a cooking vid, and on time travel, Mama J. She is not mom. She is the fam dog. Wow. That's kind of like, a lyric from Strawberry Fields Forever, Josiah Finch. That is all over. It's like,
I went on an acid trip right there, dude.
Always know
I am the
sometimes
walrus.
think it's me. Thank you, Josiah. Harvey, what do you think?
Well, I've never tasted Doomcock's cooking because, I'm in a different reality, Josiah. And, so I don't know. How bad are the tacos? They're just frozen, man. He doesn't cook shit. He doesn't know anything. But I'll tell him to look at your cooking video. If it's idiot proof, maybe he might do it. But he's not much of a cook.
No, I'm not much of a cook. But Josiah, thank you. I'm behind on my emails. I catch up on things like Patreon, and then I have to catch up on emails, and it's just endless. It's just endless. Uber driver of the apocalypse, thank you for that 100 super sticker. 100. Thank you, Uber driver of the apocalypse. J Paula 821, thank you, sir. Elton Jong is here. Hello, Elton Jong. And John Maciel with a rampaging unicorn in the chat. A unicorn has appeared. Thank you, my friend. Josiah, God bless you for that. Bionic Belly Button with a $2 super chat says, all hail the ExoZone. Bring on the woo-woo. We've got some good woo-woo stuff coming up now. James Dugan says, what are the overnight ratings viewers for Picard episode 10? We'll maybe get to that in a little bit. Thank you, Bionic Belly Button. Basil, the Pumpin' Seagull with a $20 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Basil. Says, my liege, I sadly can't stay more than a few minutes today. Duty calls. The bushels of kale are keeping me healthy, and the muscle fibers are twitching. But puke hard, and what happened in the last episode broke the seagull's mighty heart. I know. Puke hard is horrible. I don't want to get into it too much, but watching Picard, spoiler, as if y'all didn't know this, croak, but then he's there still, like we all knew. I mean, was there any suspense whatsoever?
No, but he's dead. He's dead.
But
he's just a
still
copy of Picard, which is kind of funny because that's what the show is. So
exactly. Oh my God. And we got more unicorns, Bionic Belly Button and Matt G. More unicorn stampeding. Yeah, it's a copy of Picard.
They made him a synth so the white man can go and feel guilty because they're still gonna have anti-synthites out there. So he's gonna have to feel it now because he's a synth. They wouldn't have allowed him back if they didn't lift the ban.
Well, but the thing is, we were okay.
Yeah.
We have to try and not get.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
Doomcock all week.
It's hard not to, because this is making me angry. Sporking News Podcast, thank you for the Black Cat super sticker. Very much appreciated, my friend. Look, all right, I'll just say this, and we got to get on with it. Look,
do it.
I am anti-synth. Okay, I mean that threat is real, and any maniac with the know-how can build a beacon and summon, basically Harvey Grind Thulu, the mechanical destroyer with tentacles, for fuck's sake. It's so fucking stupid. And bring them back and destroy all organic life in the fucking universe. Great. Yeah, let's go ahead and deban synths. And let's go ahead and let Soji fucking piss off on the, La Serena with mechanical Picard. It's so fucking awful. Yep. It's so awful, dude.
Worst of the worst.
Oh my God. Whew. Thank you, Basil. Our hearts are broken too. Your mighty heart can be blameless for being broken. It was enough to get us as well, brother. And God damn, it was awful. Josiah Clinch again with a $5 super chat. Hail, Josiah, says on South Dakota jailbreak. Some have been caught, but they're still on the lam. There's four still on the lam. I got 4 skin jobs walking the streets. Skin jobs. That's what Josiah Clinch called replicants. In the history book, he was the kind of guy who used to call fugitives. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, we can't say he said that bad word there.
Thank you, Josiah Clinch. I ran into a brick wall there.
South Dakota is a bad place to break out of jail. It's still pretty cold out there, and there's a whole lot of nothing. I spent a lot of time in South Dakota. Roscoe, to be specific. Roscoe, South Dakota.
Not much there at all. Thank you, Sassy Marie, for the rampaging unicorn. Thank you, Purple Lady, for the £1.99 purple heart with thanks on it. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Purple Lady. Thank you for the heart, and thank you for keeping us on track, keeping us honest here as we started to go down the rabbit hole of Pucard. But listen, this week's Inquisition will be fantastic. And I believe next week we're going to start doing the Inquisition twice a week. Is that right? That's what we were planning?
Yes. Yeah, so, after Picard, yes.
So there we go.
What kind of idiot breaks out of prison when everybody's at home and you can't blend into the crowd?
There's no crowd. Hey, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. Thank you, Josiah Clinch, brother. You rock. You stay there. You ride free and ride wild, brother. And stay healthy, will you please? Stay healthy. That's very important. J Paula 821 with a $2 super chat says, let us time travel around Zawarudu. Zawarudu? What is Zawarudu? Zawarudo. Am I missing something? Is that
or do that voodoo that you do so well?
Cause you time travel around. Yeah. Jay Paula, you have stumped the buoy. Congratulations. Thank you, brother. Let's time travel around Zawarudu. I'm going to get over to one of the most famous time travelers in at least the history of the Coast to Coast AM. We're going to get it to that in just a moment. But in the meantime, we've got a few more super chats here. Before we break, Scottish Nerd. Hello, Scottish Nerd with a £2 super chat. Hail, Scottish Nerd. He says, hail, ExoZone. Beware the unicorn stampede. Always. The unicorns also drop magic poops, but they eventually evaporate and I think create wonderful things. Thank you, Scottish Nerd, for that super chat, and thank you for being here today, brother. Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super chat, raising a glass. Hail, Psycho Dwarf 9 says, it's official. My job is temporarily canceled. Let the drinking begin. Cheers, folks. Cheers, Psycho Dwarf 9. Temporarily canceled is just a fine thing, Psycho Dwarf 9. Cheers to you, brother. Enjoy your peace and quiet. I know you work hard. You work very hard. Enjoy the time off. Cheers, brother. Drink it. Drink them if you got them. Elijah Craig small batch today, folks. Hail, Psycho Dwarf 9, and God bless you, my friend. Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat. Hail, Nicholas Horton. He says, hail, DC and Gary. Watched your review video before this live stream. Well, thank you. I assume you probably watched both of our reviews, but so I don't know who that was specifically addressed to, but thank you regardless. Watch both of our reviews. We cover shit. Even between the two of us, we don't even cover everything. We can't. There's too much awfulness and dysfunction there. We may cover a number of things, but goddamn, even both of us will miss everything. I mean, there's no way to hit everything that's wrong with this shit. It's awful. I have 3 videos to make. One's going to be a monster. That's going to take me days. And then the comic book stuff is going nuts. It'll come out in my video. I got some news. Excellent.
I got some news. I also got a Doctor Who news too, which I got right after my review. So that's coming out.
Cool.
Yeah. We got stuff. But John Teeter. It's like my brain was up my ass for a little while, and I remember who John Teeter is now. I know exactly who he is. He needed a computer.
Yes.
Didn't he? Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so.
we're gonna cover it here in just a minute, and but yes, I knew you would know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a staple on Art Bell for a long time.
Yes. Absolutely. No.
He is the patron saint of the ExoZone. Patron saint. Robert Levito, thank you for the $1.99 thumbs up. Super sticker. Very, very appreciative of that. There was also a good question in the chat. What is the worst time travel movie that there is? I don't know. What do you think? What is the worst time travel movie? I think the worst time travel thing. The only thing I can think of right now is Mikey Spock, and the Red Angel bullshit and all that crap. But in terms of a movie, shit, I don't know. That's a good question. Anyone comes up with an idea
what? For Star Trek?
Yeah, or no, for anything like just the worst time travel.
The worst time travel movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
that's interesting. I don't know.
I kind of like them all. When it comes to schlocky science fiction, that's how bad Star Trek is. I like all kinds of crap. I mean, garbage.
Yeah,
love
me
it.
too.
So I can't think of anything bad. I'll come up with it eventually.
We'll think about it. But Chris Persia, the master wrencher, one of my wrenches. Hail, Chris, says, I believe Warudo is a reference to JoJo Bizarre Adventures and his time lock ability. Maybe. I need to watch JoJo Bizarre Adventures. I've never watched it. So thank you for that. That's another reminder. There's still great stuff out there that I've never watched. So, no matter how, bad pop culture gets, there's a wealth of stuff in the past. So really what we ought to do is time travel, use the time travel function of our DVD libraries to go back in time and watch great movies that we've never seen instead of watching this newest, latest shit that comes around shoveled by the idiots in Hollywood. Why don't we watch great movies? I mean, there's a world of shit out there. Like Gary, I mean, I bet there's some old Warner Brothers movies that you haven't seen, like Now Voyager with Betty Davis and Paul Henreid. Ever see that?
Guaranteed. No, yeah. I could probably count on a couple of hands how many old black and white movies I've seen.
Well, Jesus God, man, they're amazing. Surely you've seen the Maltese Falcon, right?
Yes, I've seen the
Okay,
Maltese Falcon.
good. And Casablanca, I'm
Yes,
sure.
of course. I saw.
Okay.
Oh man, last time I saw
Uh,
Casablanca was at Foreign Cinema, which I told you when you come here, I'm taking you there.
yeah, well, I
And
gotta come.
fine French dining, and then just not crappy movies. They always play good movies on the side of a building, and you get to watch
Sweet.
those with drive-through speakers next to your table. It's brilliant.
Oh, how nice. Oh,
So
we
good.
gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta do this. If we ever can travel again, and we all survive this bullshit, I gotta come down. I gotta come down, especially now when the streets are kind of washed clean of poop and needles.
Oh yeah.
Never a better time. Thank you, Nicholas Horton. Michael Henley with an $18 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says the problem with time travel is calculating all the cosmic movement. Yes. You have to calculate the Earth's rotation and orbit and the solar system's galaxies movement also. Yes. Like in the time machine, the old George Pal movie with Rod Taylor.
Yes.
When he climbs and he sits in that thing and it powers up, if he's just traveling through time, the Earth is going to leave him behind.
Because he's not traveling in space, right? And
Right.
yeah, they didn't think that one through.
They didn't think of it, but man, that is spooky. You're absolutely correct, Michael. That is a good point. We are all moving constantly and at an accelerated speed. I mean, thousands of miles an hour, but we don't perceive it. So it all seems very stable. So we climb into a time machine. We're just going to sit our ass there and travel through time. Well, space is going to move on. And the Earth is going to be thousands of miles away, if not tens of thousands of miles away, and spiraled off on another vector.
Oh my God. The synchronicity of life. Sorry to interrupt, but I just watched Rose, Doctor Who's Rose, and he has a whole speech where he's trying to give Rose his perspective on how different that he is than a human. And he explains that I can feel the turn of the Earth. I can feel the Earth flying through space. I just reviewed that like 40 minutes ago. Synchronicity. See, there's a synchronicity to life, folks. There is. There's a reason for everything, and I completely believe in the this is planned out by something. I don't know. It could be Harvey. It could be a
puppets dancing on my strings.
It could, yeah.
Well, why don't you have me push your button, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh, asshole.
See, I just proved his predestination thing.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, well, I tend to, I mean, this is a little bit of an aside, but it is woo-y. So, and then we're going to get to John Teeter, folks. But my personal view is that every outcome is predetermined, but that includes like an infinite number of branching universes where every single twist and turn and thought and nuclear event and everything is all rendered out in this infinitely complex like matrix, like a jewel extending through every dimension, incomprehensibly complicated, but it's all there. I mean, it's kind of like, if you generate a universe from a fractal and it just goes boom and it's all out there. I think that's what with the black, the Big Bang was,
Mm-hmm.
But we don't perceive it that way. And it's not like we're yanked around, like we're controlled. It's merely that every possible thing that we might do or have done is calculated and spread us out across infinite number of, dimensions. And so consciousness is almost just like turning the jewel and letting the light go through a certain path,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not the same as like predestination. Like, we've been written by a ruthless, it's just that, all the die throws have been done. And now he's just kind of admiring the consciousness is admiring his own work, or, turning the jewel this way or that way and looking at, this path and that path. And it's just a pretty ornament. What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, I'm open to all possibilities. I don't think it's an accident. That's the
No,
only
no,
thing
no, no,
think
I
it
don't
is.
either.
Yeah, I don't think we
No.
just are a happy little accident. There's just too many things I've seen in my dumb little life that say otherwise.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'll go woo-woo on you real quick. And I've told this story before. When my father passed away from cancer, his mom, my grandma, died at the same time. Is that a coincidence?
Wow.
She wasn't sick.
Wow. No.
Yeah. So things happen for a reason.
Yeah. I believe that there is nothing but consciousness, and so it is intelligent. Consciousness, intelligence, it's definitely there. There's an intentionality to the way that things are laid out, and I'm not talking about some guy with a beard up on a throne and all that stuff. I just it's infinitely more complex than that. I mean that's like a caricature that just doesn't bear up. It's not like it's not like the Potter. It's not like a Potter where the universe is a big pot. It's more like a play, like a simulation or something that the programmer launched from a kind of a fractal seed that has blossomed out. But regardless, Agent Pepsi 1 with a $5 super chat. Hello, Agent Pepsi 1 says, my liege, we would not know if time travel occurs as it seems normal. Mandela effect might be time travel. I have my own strange Mandela effect experience. Well, I would love to hear it, Agent Pepsi 1. You should shoot that to me, and maybe we can go ahead and explore that on a future ExoZone. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I've been told Agent Pepsi 1 has provided me with interesting ExoZone information in the past, and I'm very grateful, Agent Pepsi 1. Very grateful indeed. Fascinating stuff. Well, I think the time has come to go ahead and talk a little bit about John Titor.
Mm-hmm.
So John Titor was a name that appeared somewhere in the old days of bulletin boards on the internet, right? This was a name that surfaced between maybe 2000, 2001 on numerous bulletin boards in the kind of early days of the internet by a poster claiming to be an American military time traveler from the year 2036 named John Titor. Now, John Titor, as time travelers are wont to do, made some vague, and some specific, predictions regarding things that were coming in the year 2004 and beyond, including a nuclear war, which so far has not come true. Mm-hmm. Now, there have been inconsistencies in his explanations. There have been investigators looking into it, saying that it was an elaborate hoax. But let's go ahead and look at some of the specifics of this. So initially, the first posts with John Titor's military symbol. He had a symbol that he posted. And it was on something called Time Travel Institute forums on November 2nd, 2000. And the name that it was posted under was Time Travel _0. At that time, the name John Titor was not being used. The posts discussed time travel in general. And the initial post was a description of what a time machine would need to be built like in order to function, and also posting responses to questions about how such a machine would work. Now, in early post, John Titor described his time machine as a stationary mass temporal displacement unit powered by two topspin dual positive singularities, producing a standard offset Tipler sinusoid. And there was a more explicit post saying that this time machine contained 2 magnetic housing units for the dual micro singularities. Singularities would be, of course, microscopic black holes. And an electron injection manifold to alter mass and gravity of these micro singularities, a cooling and X-ray venting system, gravity sensors, or a variable gravity lock, 4 main cesium clocks, and 3 main computer units. And according to the posts, this device was installed either in the rear of a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette convertible or a 1987 truck having 4-wheel drive. So now Art Bell used to talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, it was like a staple on Art Bell's on show. And it was on Art Bell's BBS forum specifically, where the name John Teeter was introduced in 2001. And in January of 2001. And then the Teeter posts ended in March of 2001. Now, so what was John Teeter allegedly doing here for? Teeter claimed to be an American soldier from 2036, based in Tampa, Florida. He was assigned to a governmental time travel project and sent back to 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer. Yes, an IBM 5100 computer, which he said was needed to debug various legacy computer programs in 2036. A possible reference to the Unix year 2038 problem. And the IBM 5100 runs the APL and basic programming languages. Teeter had been selected for this mission because his paternal grandfather was directly involved in the assembly and programming of the 5100. He described, in support of this story, unpublicized features of the 5100, leading to assumptions that a computer scientist was behind these postings. Teeter claimed to be on a stopover in the year 2000 for personal reasons, to collect pictures lost in the future Civil War, and to visit his family, of whom he often spoke. Teeter also said he had been for a few months trying to alert anyone that would listen about the threat of the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease spread through beef products and about the possibility of civil war within the United States. When questioned about them by an online subscriber, Teeter also expressed an interest in mysteries such as UFOs, which remained unexplained in his time. Teeter suggested that UFOs and extraterrestrials might be travelers from much farther into the future than his own time, with superior time machines. So what do you think, Gary? What do you think about this so far? And what does the chat think? Hail, Armchair Warlord. Thank you for that super sticker, brother. I appreciate it.
There is listen, I want time travel to be possible.
Yes.
Just for, because it sounds fun. But if we really took this one step further and said, okay, it's possible, that would be incredibly scary. Who is in control of it? Because whoever was in control of it could control the world.
Yes.
Could be messing with events right now. Could be, and we don't know. I mean, there will be scientists out there who said it's impossible, and chances are it is now. But we don't know. We don't know how long we're around in the future, and I think it's possible. This story was a fun story to listen to.
Oh, it was at the time. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. I'm hoping that there's a lot of folks out there who are Art Bell fans who enjoyed listening to the saga of John Teeter. I know I did. I would lie awake and listen to this talk about time travel and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, you remember what it was like.
Yeah, I mean, what I when I was listening to Art Bell, it was for entertainment for me. There are people he brought on that I absolutely 1000% believed and still believe to this day. And then there's people like, this is a fun story. And then there's stuff that's conflicting. Okay. John Teeter sounded good for a long time. And is it a hoax? Probably. But but at the time I was like, this is interesting. And and it was well thought up. And then you got to ask yourself, to this very day, nobody's claimed credit for it.
Right.
No.
Right.
Why would we do this elaborate hoax and not claim credit for it later and just go, boom, trolled you? Why? There's no monetary value to be gained when you're anonymous and you're making up a character. So is this a front? Is there something? That's my belief, is it might be covering up another story. That's where I come down on the John Teeter thing.
Well, now that's entirely possible. Now, John Teeter has been something of a minor cottage industry. In 2004, the John Teeter Foundation published a book, John Teeter, A Time Traveler's Tale.
There you go.
Discussing his claims. Now, the book is now out of print. And in 2004, Time Traveler Zero, a play based on the John Teeter story, was staged in the United States.
But who was it? Well, it depends. I mean, if that was just somebody else monetizing it.
I don't know. But the beautiful thing about John Teeter, first of all, is that he entered pop culture in a very fun way. In the 2009 novel Steins Gate, adapted into an anime in 2011, John Teeter has a major part of the plot and is part of many of the plot twists. And in an issue of The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, John Teeter is listed in the Deadpool's Guide to Supervillains card set as an alias of Kang the Conqueror.
That's funny. That's funny. I love that.
I know. I love that. And of course, Kang the Conqueror is actually Dr. Doom in another timeline.
Well, he is in another timeline. He's also a direct descendant of Reed Richards. There's multiple Kang the Conquerors, and they always interact with each other. And he's actually going to pop up in Loki. He's going to be in the Loki TV show, supposedly.
Interesting.
And I think he might become. It's a great villain. It's an outstanding villain.
Oh yeah.
Now it originally started out as Rama Tut in
Rama
Fantastic
Tut.
Four. Yeah.
Yes.
So but then they've retconned it so a gazillion times. So it could be Dr. Doom at this point, or they'll probably it's a young black girl.
You're
this
right.
Just in, King the Conqueror is a young black girl.
Oh dear. That's sad.
Yeah. Non-binary. Sorry, non-binary.
But I remember when Kang and Doom were facing each other and saying, then you're me. So I mean, at one point they had
they absolutely were. You're right. They've retconned it like 17, and I'm not kidding, probably like 17 times.
Right. But I'm going off that original stuff, that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stuff. Magic, which trumps everything in my opinion.
It does.
Let me run this past you folks, okay? Let me play devil's advocate and use my advanced scientific knowledge to hypothesize this. What if John Teeter was telling the truth? What if John Teeter actually existed, was the person that he said he was, and did come back for that computer? Now, what if he came back and jumped? Now, you cannot see, the problem is you can't really go back to your own time. I mean, you cannot travel back in your own time. Now, you might have been trying to skip dimensions and go back with this computer, jumping back into his time in the future, before he left. Let's say, okay, he leaves on Tuesday and jumps across realities to another reality with the 5100 and gets it. And then he's screwing around and he jumps into another, like a way stop, he described it, of the year 2000, to go ahead and see his parents who had died in the Civil War and retrieve some photos and stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, But who's to say that then he jumps ahead? He jumps again ahead and lands on Friday back in his own reality, because he could jump ahead theoretically, and he could bring the computer, but the reality that he got the computer from, and the reality that his parents were alive in, was not exactly the same reality where he came from. I mean, it was a reasonable facsimile, close enough if you wanted to see your parents and stuff, that you could overlook the little differences, the little differences and stuff.
Yep.
But he's talking about his reality, which could be wildly skewed from our quantum timeline, which could have had way more divergence than he thought, right?
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? So he could have been telling the truth. He could be a time traveler, but he's describing his timelines, past, which is not ours, because we're too wildly divergent. Maybe he overjumped the target or something. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And that's why, that's what I was talking about earlier, was like, maybe he was just in the string theory. Maybe he did travel in time, like you said, and just didn't go to where he wanted to go because you can't, or because he fucked up or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now of course it could be a hoax, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is why Art Bell lasted for so long. Is, of course, we know that some of these people could be BS, but that's not the point here. I mean, that's not very entertaining. This could be BS. Thank you. End of the show. No, we entertain possibilities that other shows won't.
And it's fun just to exercise our imaginations and, take a walk on the wild side,
Exactly. Well, because life is much stranger than we think it is. It is not this linear thing that the system and academia tell us, okay? Because I've seen too many weird shit just in my life, and that's not counting how many weird little things you've seen in your life. And we all have a couple of experiences in our life that just are unexplainable by any type of science or anything. And if everyone has that story, some people have multiple stories, there's something to it. And even listen, I am super obviously anti-drug. I am not the kind of person who likes to put anything in my body that alters my state, because I am of the belief we were born with the state we were supposed to have. But I'm not if other people want to take a little trip on the wild side and do the DMT thing that Graham Hancock talks about, and Joe Rogan constantly, but they do mention having contact with something, either in a spirit realm and you have to go through this crazy concoction of plants, or there's the DMT chemical, but with ayahuasca in particular, you have to have two plants that are not connected at all, that supposedly these bushmen in the jungle figured out something that scientists couldn't figure out. And you have to mix these two things amongst hundreds of thousands of plants in a jungle. Somebody figured out that if we mix these two things, we can talk to spirit people or something like that, or whatever, however Graham Hancock put it. And then there are the clinical tests that they took where people experience the same thing, 5 different people experience the same thing. That's weird. It's weird. I don't have an explanation for it, but I'm just trying to paint a picture that shit's weird. And there is most definitely, we do not understand. We are still monkeys. We do not understand this reality, this universe we live in at all. And I bring it up a lot, but man, once in a while, you'll see the Scientific Journal or the New York Times come up going, have we figured it all out? Has science reached its pinnacle? It's like, shut up. Well, physics is constantly changing. That's why it's the theory. Things are constantly changing, and that's good. That's good. And we're starting to see scientists and academics get a little more open-minded as time goes on. And, we have those fringy people, and that's the toughest thing we have to deal with, especially in ufology, because a lot of times when people get big in ufology, and I mean a lot, they get to guru status. All of a sudden they might start out completely legit, like Stephen Greer, And then they start turning into gurus and wanting to contact aliens with their brains by meditation or something like that, which I have a very hard time believing. Very, very hard time believing. And like David Wilcock, like the blonde guy, oh man, because I'm tired. Okay, Corey, I forgot his last name, but the one who traveled to Mars and has been de-aged and stuff. We have to deal with all that crap, right? And then there's Richard Dolan, who is solid, who is absolutely solid. I believe that guy. Yeah. And that's what we have to fight constantly in this field. And it makes it harder to find the truth because it's out there. Fox Mulder, it's out there.
It is out there. And Mr. Mills typed this in the chat. I wanted to share this with everybody. Alex Jones and the Machine Elves. What a great name for a band.
It really is.
Alex Jones and the Machine Elves. Drops
are gay.
That would be so great. Genius Fool the Irrefutable says there's a German novel, The Eighth Day of Creation by Wolfgang Jeschke. He says basically the U.S. attempts time travel to seize the Saudi oil. It goes wrong, and the Americans end up being the first humans. That's just really funny to me. Oh, I guess we're going to be the first humans. Hope they brought a woman. Otherwise, it's going to be a short trip. Yeah. So let's talk about John Teeter's predictions here.
Yeah.
We've got he invoked the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, which I have basically been quoting here as well, whereby events from his timeline may differ from our own. Teeter also expressed assurances that the differences were minimal. As such, his descriptions have been interpreted as predictions and compared with the historical events since 2001. Yeah, but I would say John Teeter could have been wrong. John Teeter could have not known where the fuck he actually was, Maybe that's why he only posted for a few months and then he realized that he was off. And
yeah, he's like, oh, wait a minute.
What are the
didn't
coordinates?
Carry that. Yeah, I missed the decimal spot. Shite.
Oh, I didn't carry the one. God, you idiot. And so he got embarrassed and shut up. But I think it's funny. He thought that the differences were minimal, but what if he overshot? What if the differential of the mass between his original trajectory and his trajectory with the IBM 5100 computer threw off his calculations? Because, those IBMs back then, they were heavy. So, maybe that's it. But he said the most immediate of Teeter's predictions was an upcoming civil war in the United States having to do with order and rights. He described it as beginning in 2004 with civil unrest surrounding the presidential election of that year. This civil conflict that he described as having a Waco type event every month that steadily gets worse would be pretty much at everyone's doorstep and erupt by 2008. Well, that didn't happen, although, honestly, with the split in our politics and everything, and so many people getting riled up, it's not all that implausible. However, if we are in a way farther off divergence from his timeline than he thought, well, that could really explain a lot of stuff. But anyway, in his
Waco, whoa, you're in Texas.
Yeah.
Imagine a Waco now. Waco, what to me, while that was David Koresh, and listen, I only know what the media told me, was a cult. It was a cult. That was to me one of the first major incidents that the media stirred up. Mm-hmm. And pulled the strings of the government and got the government to react based on the media stirring people up. And, there was constant stories on that stuff. That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but,
well, that's possible. Also, Mark Robeson in the chat adds an interesting point. Or did it happen? Did it happen? And another time traveler went back and fixed it on us.
Maybe.
How about that shit? Now, as a result of this civil war that happened, at least in his timeline, hypothetically, unless it's all complete bullshit, which is probably is. But the United States would be split into 5 regions based on various factors and differing military objectives. This civil war would end in 2015 with a brief but intense World War III. So he talks about this exchange as End Day. DC and Jacksonville, Florida are specifically mentioned as going boom. After the war, Omaha, Nebraska would be the new U.S. capital. Teeter was vague as to the exact motivations and causes for World War III. At one point, he characterized the hostilities as being led by, quote, border clashes and overpopulation. He also pointed to the contemporary conflict between Arabs and Israel not as a cause, but rather as a milestone that precedes a hypothetical World War III. He claims that as a 13-year-old in 2011, he joined a shotgun infantry unit in Florida called the Fighting Diamondbacks, where he was there for at least 4 years. But in other posts, he described himself as hiding from the war. That's interesting. So self-contradictory posts. Well, how would we explain that, Gary?
Well, you can't. I mean, I would say if he came from a different timeline, maybe if I'm trying to explain his self-contradictory posts, maybe he could have been from multiple ones. I don't know though. And a lot of this stuff is from the socio-political climate of the time, of, the early, late 90s, early 2000s stuff that was going on.
Right.
But yeah, I have no idea.
Well, how about this? Here's an interesting little hypothesis. What if, sir, and I'm just floating this out there as a devil's advocate for HGH, human growth hormone. What if John Teeter had become unanchored, not merely in time and space, but in quantum reality? And so this was a man spread out across realities, phasing in and out, and in a state of semi-delirium. So that both things are true because they were different versions of John Teeter in one coordinate, phasing in and out, smeared across reality, sir.
Yeah.
How weird.
Yep. His consciousness or whatever, or he physically is in 2 places for brief moments of time. So he does experience both things.
Yes. He claimed, John Teeter, that the Everett Wheeler model of quantum physics, better known as the many worlds interpretation, was correct. According to Teeter, this caused a new time stream to form because of his time travel. This gives his predictions the ability to stand up to scrutiny when they fail to pass, since believers can say that the events were averted by Teeter's postings. I don't think that that's even, I mean, the events are so way off.
Yeah.
So way off that I don't buy that at all. I mean, I think like ripples in a pond, if you jump to a quantum reality, a different timeline, very immediately adjacent to yours, you're going to notice almost no differences, almost nothing. If you jump to one just a moderate distance away, those differences are going to magnify like the sound of thunder, like the ripples in a pond, where just, a little but beyond a certain point, a little jump to the right or left and a step to the right changes things more and more as you get farther out. Now, if he way overshot the thing, everything would be different. And he might be disoriented and confused, or he could have been full of shit. Chris Persia asks, so is John Teeter the real life Clara Oswald?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The impossible guy.
The impossible guy. Isn't that sweet?
So sweet.
Tolfer says Teeter saved us all. Wow. Maybe
he's a hero, damn it.
I'm a hero. You hear? Imagine that as they wheel him off in the, straitjacket like John Lithgow at the end of the Twilight Zone movie, which was the best damn short film damn near ever made. If you ever never seen the Twilight Zone the movie, the sequence with George Miller directing Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with John Lithgow, God Almighty, have you seen that, man?
Multiple times. I love Twilight Zone the movie. I love it.
It's good, but that last sequence, talk about like masterful filmmaking, where he is in a cabin. He is in a fucking jet cabin. And he has more movement and flair and cinematic dynamism than in all of Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard. I mean, a guy in a seat. And this guy is moving the camera. He's doing stuff. He's making it dynamic and exciting and thrilling. George Miller, cinematic master. Anyway, but I digress. It's fascinating. I just love talking about John Titor. Maybe it's just because I was brought up with, Art Bell. I don't know. I just love talking about John Titor.
He's one of the greatest hits of Art Bell. Him, Father Malachi Martin, Bob Lazar. He's up there. Titor's is up there. Definitely.
Yes, he really is. There's a lot of fun. I mean, of course, just because he was on Art Bell all the time doesn't mean he's not, full of crap. Yeah. I mean, who was really full of crap was Major Ed
Ames.
Major Ed Ames, the Dr. Doom, as they like to call him. What a crock of shit. Ed Ames was full of crap.
Yep. Always. And he wasn't even, and God, he even consulted on that one movie because he was such a shyster. And then you find out that he wasn't really a remote viewer at all. Or was one of the lower level ones, and
he wasn't really. Well, I think he wasn't he an administrator at the project? I mean, John Ronson's book, "The Men Who Stare at Goats." I've read that, and I mean, Ed Ames was there, but he didn't see diddly squat.
Nope. But there's something to that remote viewing thing. There is something to it. There's most definitely something to it,
which is really weird, isn't it?
Yep.
It's really weird. What's really weird is, because I mean, they could view not just through time but space, right? I mean, the whole thing, right?
Yep.
So what the fuck? What kind of remote viewer is screwing around looking on the far side of the moon or Mars when they could be going back and watching Betty Page? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what they had the real ones doing. They recently had the guy who started the program on, I forgot his name, some hippie dude from
he was like, he was like the earth kernel hippie. Man, he drew up this whole manifesto and it was about love and I mean,
No, and they did all that stuff here in Mountain View and where Silicon Valley is and some of the first tests. And they had, I mean, it was just all walks of life that they brought in for this thing. And it was random people. And some people were just really freaking good at it. And they didn't even know they had these abilities their entire life. And that one story where they have a guy standing under an arch of a bridge somewhere in Mountain View, and one of the remote viewers just like describes it perfectly. And like they had no way of knowing where this guy was. He drove to some random location, and then the guy figured it out, and it was bizarre, just bizarre. I have no explanation for it.
Yeah, the really talented guy was Ingo Swann.
Yeah.
Ingo Swann was the most accurate remote viewer in the CIA documents. He wrote a book, and I mean, he went and remote viewed Mars, I believe. I think he also may have remote viewed the moon. Absolutely fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating.
Yep.
He remote viewed Jupiter as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he took about 3.5 minutes to go remote view Jupiter, and he made a lot of reports about what Jupiter was.
Yes, he figured out a bunch of stuff that we didn't know till later. about
Yes.
Jupiter. Yes. Ah, yes. That was cool.
It was weird. These are his statements. He said at 6:06:20, he said, very high in the atmosphere, there are crystals. They glitter. Maybe the stripes are like bands of crystals, maybe like rings of Saturn, though not far out like that. Very close within the atmosphere. I bet you they'll reflect radio probes. Is that possible if you had a cloud of crystals that were assaulted by different radio waves? He says, now I'll go down through. Feels really good there. He laughs. I said that before, didn't I? Inside those cloud layers, those crystal layers, they look beautiful from the outside. From the inside, they look like rolling gas clouds. Eerie yellow light, rainbows. He pauses. I get the impression, though I don't see, that it's liquid. Another pause. Then I came through the cloud cover. The surface. It looks like sand dunes. They're made of very large gray crystals, so they slide. Tremendous winds, sort of like maybe the prevailing winds of Earth, but very close to the surface of Jupiter. From that view, the horizon looks orangish or rose-colored, but overhead it's kind of greenish yellow. Says, if I look to the right, there's an enormous mountain range. Another pause. I feel that there's liquid somewhere. Those mountains are very huge, but they still don't poke up through the crystal cloud cover. You know, I had a dream once, something like this, where the cloud cover was a great arc, sweeps over the entire heaven. Those grains which make that sand orange are quite large. They have a polished surface and they look something like amber or like obsidian, but they're yellowish and not as heavy. The wind blows them. They slide along. He says, if I turn, the whole thing seems enormously flat. I mean, if I get the feeling that if a man stood on those sands, I think he would sink into them. Maybe that's where the liquid feeling comes from. So these are all things, quotes from his remote viewing of Jupiter. This is interesting. I think if it's true at all, that is the real deal. That's Ingo Swann is kind of well regarded, and yeah, he may be the real deal.
Trippy.
But I guess, yeah, I don't know.
That's not how I imagine Jupiter. But God, he also said something about moons or the rings. I can't remember. He figured out something,
right?
Scientists figured out later. I don't know. I can't remember what it was about though, but I have to look it up.
Well, maybe an ExoZone we should do specifically about Ingo Swann and all of his observations. Now, Ed Dame, on the other hand, remote viewed Satan. So,
and the end of the world too.
Said, sure.
No, he said financial collapse was coming forever. Yeah, you know. Now he's probably going to come out and say he was right now. Son of a bitch.
What a guy, huh?
Yeah.
What a guy. What a phony.
Dr. Doom.
Good old Dr. Doom. What a guy. Jay Paula, 821 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jay Paula, 821. Says, you notice Holly weird celebs, Jodie Whittaker and the comic book pros are trying to boost morale and be all friendly, yet attack us online. Screw that. Yeah, they're so full of shit. They're hypocrites, and you know, they're pushing their agenda, and anybody that doesn't swallow it gratefully from them on high is an enemy, and a racist and a sexist and blah 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 blah. Fuck all of that shit. Jay Paula 821, who also adds with another $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Holly Weird, the comic book pros and the left are getting what they effing deserve. Thanks to C-Chan. It's horrible, innocent people got screwed over, though. Hail J. Paula 821. Man, yeah, I just, these people, look at Chaban, you know? This guy will not shut up. It's just the most bizarre thing. I would be ashamed as hell. I'd be hanging my head in shame if I had publicly crapped the bed like these clowns did with Star Trek Puke Hard. I would never want to go out in public again. And yet he's proudly still over there just whining. I guess CBS told him to go out and do it, probably, right?
Yep. Oh, most definitely. There's no Kurtzman anywhere.
Yeah, where's Kurtzman?
Where's
Kurtzman? Very interesting. Elton Jong with a £2 super chat. Thank you, Elton. Says JL should have led with an ode to Spot. JL should have led with an ode to Spot. They'd probably have to license that. Did you, spoiler. So basically, Data all this time, his consciousness has been kept alive by basically, I guess his head was, they do this long kind of explanation about how Data's consciousness has survived all this time in a quantum, reality or something, a quantum construct. And near as I can figure it, after, I spent like about 10, 15, 20 minutes, like going over this bullshit, throwing all these terms around. Basically, it seems like they took Data's head and shoved it up B4's ass, and it was powered by Laura's right foot running on a hamster wheel, as far as I could tell. But he wanted to be unplugged. So we not only get to watch Picard not die, but we get to see Data, fade away or not fade away, as the case may be. And they have a shot of Picard in the quantum reality holding his hand as he goes, but only shot from the back and in silhouette, just the arm, so they wouldn't have to fucking pay the price for the fucking licensing for his fucking Next Generation uniform. Yay!
Yes.
What a wonderful, heartfelt moment. I was just so not moved to fucking tears.
Yeah, it was confusing. First of all, who's sitting there? Why hide it? There's so much evidence proving that theory correct.
It's just absolutely pathetic.
All the ships.
Yeah. Unfucking believable. God. All right. Sporking News Podcast with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Sporking News Podcast. And Hale says Picard series, just like Picard at the end, no soul. Damn right. No soul at all. Thank you, Sporking News Podcast. You are absolutely correct, my friend. Sebastian Anon with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Sebastian. Says that one thing that last episode of Picard taught me is that there will always be a future in tentacle support. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. All those advanced aliens from the machine dimension, they had tentacles and stuff. So, yeah.
It's just hanging right outside a portal, just waiting for it to open.
Yeah. It was absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I have to do more videos about this shit. I'm going to do like a season 1 retrospective. It's going to be.
Well, that's going to explain. That connects, and you're right, you should. That goes right into the Star Trek Discovery, because remember when they lost that probe in that time anomaly in season 2, it came back with a bunch of tentacles and same thing. So that is your definitive connection, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I got absolutely outraged. This is the worst episode. All right, I shouldn't. Let's go on. Elton Jong with a £2 super chat. Thank you, Elton. Again says, "Hey, La Serena." Yeah, La Serena, indeed, Elton Jong. Elton Jong is correct. Elton John sees all. Hail Elton Jong with a £2 super chat, brother. Thank you very, very much. Crimson Mist with a $2 super chat saying, "Let's do the time warp again." Damn right, Crimson Mist. We are doing the time warp again here on the ExoZone. Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat. Thank you. Oh, Apex Tyrannus says, "My lord, you have not read my live fire messages I sent you on Twitter. I'm sorry, man. I have not had a chance yet. Also, the real news regarding the, is America has more cases than China, but only 1/3 the mortality rate and 1/8 of Italy. Interesting and weird. I'm sorry, Apex Tyrannus. I have not had a chance. I've not been on Twitter, and but I will look at those. And I apologize for that.
Yeah, China was not exactly honest about their numbers. We'll just say that. I wouldn't assume anything like that.
No, I wouldn't either. That's just, yeah. And I'm just glancing through for anything from Live Fire, but you haven't sent anything lately, my friend. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just totally swamped here, man. Totally swamped here. But I will go look afterwards. D. Oberg with a $2 super chat. Thank you, D. Oberg. Says the Harvey Zone, all the wampum today is his.
What? I didn't know that. You're working for me, mofo. You're working for me.
No, that's not.
No. I'm charging you rent, mofo, and the rent is everything you get.
Son of a bitch, Harvey. You son of a bitch. And D. Oberg, what are you doing filling his little green noggin with such thoughts? Golly, that's all we need, right? Is more craziness from Harvey Cthulhu's fevered brain.
Mhm.
Thank you, D. Oberg, for setting him off. It's crazy, dude. Crazy. Bird of Prey 5 with a $2 super chat. Actually, two $2 super chats in a row. Thank you, Bird of Prey 5. He says, underrated time travel movie Millennium 1989. I've not seen it. Have you seen Millennium?
I know the TV. I have not seen Millennium.
That's the one with Chris Christopherson, right?
No.
And Cheryl Ladd, right? One of the Charlie's Angels.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've never seen
the show, but I don't remember the movie.
Huh. And Bird of Prey 5 also says awesome time travel movie Frequency.
Yes.
2000.
Yes. It was originally written by a friend of mine.
Really?
Yep.
What's it about?
It's about a girl who has a ham radio and is able to talk to her dad in the past, who was played by Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Yes.
Nice. I want to welcome Tyron Beard, Hecate's daughter, Dave, Bob, Wild Bill, Michael Beacom. Hail to all of you in the chat, and thank you for being here. Hail Hecate's daughter. Robert Lovito with a $2 super chat says, love A Sound of Thunder, the short story. Yeah. Ray Bradbury. I mean, that thing was written, I don't know, in the 40s or 50s. What an imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And what a keen understanding of just how a little event in time would ripple and create such chaos and change. Now, he the only problem with that story is that the changes, I think, were too subtle to really follow the crushing of a butterfly. I think it would have been way more than what Bradbury said, but credit a guy in, the 40s or early 50s and basically setting kind of a gold standard of fiction in terms of time travel stuff. Very admired. I admire the guy very much. What a great imagination he had.
Yep.
JPRPH1 with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, my dear friend JPRPH1, who says, hail Lord Doomcock, hail Nerdrotic, and cheers. JPRPH1, thank you, sir, very much for that. And cheers to you, brother. Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat and an answer for us. We've got an answer. He says the worst time travel movie is Terminator Dark Fate.
Yep.
A disgrace to the franchise.
Agreed.
Amen. God, I'm embarrassed I didn't think of that.
I tried to block it out of my head.
Is there anything worse than that? What about, so it's definitely worse even than Terminator Genesis, right?
Yes.
Because it kills John Connor, right?
Yeah. Well, both of them screw up John Connor.
Right.
Genesis is, it's harmless because it doesn't kill John like the real John Connor from T2 in the first 5 minutes. That is an abomination of pop culture. That's a crime against pop culture and imagination and writing and everything that we love.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes it worse.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well done, Nicholas Horton. Thank you for correcting our temporary brain fart there. Drake is 6, and indeed Drake is 6. Where am I? In the village, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Yes, John Drake, I believe, is number 6. And he says, hail guys, loved your reviews. Episode 10, STP. Fun note, got new Blu-ray Monty Python set restored to uncut to original BBC 60s broadcasts coming. Fun watching. Really, a Blu-ray? Huh.
Yeah.
Now I've got the whole Monty Python set on DVD. Now they were originally shot mostly on video. I mean, they had some remote film segments and stuff, but I would ask, I guess, the chat, is that big, DVD set that came out like what, 10, 15 years ago? I mean, hopefully that's uncut, isn't it? Does anybody know about that? Do I need to get this Blu-ray set? But I think that, I've got the full set. I mean, there's only been one that I know of. I mean, those were not cut, were they? Do you know?
I don't recall them being cut, but maybe they were.
God, I hope not. That would really rot my ass.
Yeah.
If they have, then I have to invest in this Blu-ray set. Jeez. Keller Ranch says no. Nerdrotic. Frequency was a boy and his dad.
I thought it was a girl.
Huh. I don't know. I have no idea. Larry says the Blu-ray set was restored and very expensive. Interesting. What were you saying, Gary?
It was a boy, and I'm thinking of the TV series. Hang on. It's been goddamn.
I never have seen either one, so I mean, you still know more about it than I do. I'll tell you that.
Dennis Quaid in it. Maybe it was his dad. Hang on. Frequency.
It was a girl in the TV series, Gary, says Al Bundy.
Yeah, it was a girl in the TV series, and it was a boy. And
okay.
So the movie was originally written by I'm not even supposed to tell this story, but fuck it. William Selby, and it was plagiarized. It was stolen.
Really?
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Wow.
That's fucking Hollywood.
Hooray for Hollywood. Jesus Christ. Chris Persia, it was a boy in the movie and a girl in the TV series. Yeah. ICA Bronco says, it's the Mandela effect. No, just getting confused on that. Doomcock, it was $113
I was probably
on Amazon.
I was probably mixing it up with Contact in my head. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. RN Feliciano says the final countdown was epic. I've not actually seen that. Interesting.
The final countdown.
And Hail to Little Witch Boy. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, the final countdown is epic. That's a good movie. I like that movie. I mean, that's another one. It's like, oh my God, it's been years since I've seen that. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Didn't it have like a aircraft carrier and a vortex, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. I saw it when it hit the theaters, and it was I was in my teens. So,
boy, it's been a long time.
We're talking almost 40 years.
Oh man. So I should see it. Is that the one that's based on the Philadelphia experiment, or is it something else?
Was that based on the Philadelphia? It might have been.
With a carrier getting transported, and
it might have been. I forgot who was in that now.
Interesting. Well, Keller
song comes up.
That's okay. Keller Ranch with a $20 super chat. Hail Keller Ranch, who says, Doom, nerd, there is only one way to fix Doctor Who, the Dream Lord. They can retcon Pooh Jody Who with the Matt Smith Dream Lord episode. So we employ some little Dream Lord logic and intervention there to fix and retcon this fucking Pooh Jody Who out of existence. I like that, Keller Ranch. I think that's actually a really good idea. Well done, sir. See, between us and the chat, there's no pop culture problem that we cannot solve, and probably
I knew Martin Sheen was in it. I knew it. So was Kirk Douglas. Yeah. So
Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen, huh?
Yeah. And they go back in time to 1941.
1941.
From 1980 to 1941. It was 1980. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Huh. Was it deliberate or an accident?
It was I think it was an accident. Again, I saw this in the theater with my mom and had never seen it again.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen it, so I don't know. But I assume that they used their better firepower to win World War II or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I gotta see that. Gotta find out where I can see that. Thank you very much, Keller Ranch. Yeah, go ahead and have the Matt Smith Dream Lord episode negate Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's Who and fix everything. That could be.
They could use that episode to fix everything, but it would have to fix the. I mean, what are you blanking out? Is the Dream Lord still in the TARDIS, or are we going to blank out anything after that episode? I mean, because the Dream Lord's still there. They clearly show the Dream Lord still in the TARDIS, so we don't know. That was a good one.
I think it's a good idea.
I like that one.
Yeah,
that was a good episode.
It is. Elton Jong is bidding us good night with a £2 super chat. Says, good night all, as Janeway would say,
time's up.
That was my Janeway impression.
I'm Captain
Janeway. I'm Captain Janeway.
Yeah, Mr. Orland.
Yep. You're my knight in shining armor.
I am going to command this ship, I tell you.
God, she's like Catherine Hepburn, not being on a vibrator belt. It's basically without the shake. That's basically Janeway. Her voice was very grating. Honestly,
it was, and it was really grating at Star Trek Las Vegas when you had to hear her pontificating about life. It's like, oh wow, career Hollywood actress who spent her entire life pretending, telling me how to live.
Oh, sure,
it's my favorite thing. I love it.
She knows way better than you, Gary. And
I
mean, she's. Yeah. Although I imagine her voice now is more like, doctor boyfriend, doctor girlfriend.
Chakotay, come over here. Why is 7 of 9 a lesbian now? What'd you do?
Yeah, right. They're holding hands with the drunk, broken down Raffi. How embarrassing. Good God.
No,
and they had her with that other woman, right? The hateful.
When you read that article, Doomcock, Chabon admits to putting stuff in there to provoke fandom. He admits it. He fracking admits it.
What a piece of shit. I'm gonna
vindictive, weak-minded, small-minded, little stupid hippie from Berkeley.
Yeah,
his Pulitzer Prize can go straight up his ass. I pulled Cavalier and Clay out of I tossed it in the trash last night.
Oh,
in the garbage.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'm going to do the same thing. I got so many books. I haven't even looked. I've seen it, but I'm going to track it down wherever it is on the shelf and chuck it. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Punk
I put a Doctor Who novel as a Doctor Who book in its place. So
maybe I'll take it out in the yard and piss on it.
You'll just see. You know what? Yeah.
Stream of piss, just hitting it. And I'll just post it on my private video thing. I mean, you won't see any, any bits. You'll just know the context, and you'll hear me ranting in the background.
Remember when I burned Star Trek Discovery Season 1 Blu-ray in my barbecue?
Yeah.
That triggered a few people.
Oh, I think pissing on the book would be
would be wonderful. And yeah, you can do it from a distance. Show off your skills, your Geologia skills.
My mad Geologia skill.
Yeah.
I'll be singing. You'll hear me faintly in the background singing. Oh, my baby. Oh, my honey.
Hello, my ragtime gal.
Put a little piss on your book. Yeah. That's a great idea. Maybe I should. Not on YouTube though. It would be on my private video.
Oh, that's a Patreon exclusive. That's a
Patreon exclusive.
A Patreon exclusive.
A Patreon.
We're here all week, folks.
Oh, I love it. Drake is 6 is saying Doomcock with Monty Python. The editing started with the reruns in the early 70s on the BBC. PBS showed 95% unedited version. Blu-ray set actually had surviving Monty Python members working on the restoration. Well, I guess I got to get it then.
That's awesome. Okay, so that PBS set that I have on DVD is edited.
Apparently so.
95% edited. That chaps my hide. My hide is chapped.
It's 5%. It would be 5% edited, 95% intact.
I have been robbed of 5% of Monty Python in my life,
Yep.
and I.
Oh,
want
I'm
it
annoyed.
back.
If it was edited on PBS, I mean, that's where I saw it. So I've never seen
boobs
unedited.
Were they
Jesus
like boobs?
Christ.
Because I mean, Channel 13 used to show boobs all the time on Benny Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carol Cleveland. God. If only we could have got some uncensored Carol Cleveland. God, she was hot. All
best
right.
thing Cleveland's ever produced.
That's right. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where am I? What was I doing? Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Jeffrey Wolf with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Jeffrey. Says time has little to do with infinity and jelly donuts. But a lot to do with jelly babies, as it turns out. A lot to do with jelly babies, Jeffrey Wolf. But thank you, my friend. Infinity and Jelly Donuts. That's another good band name there, right there.
It is. There's a lot of good ones.
Infinity and Jelly Donuts. Probably be like a girl band, I would see. I see that
It
one.
would be. It's more of a name of an album, like a concept album.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah. It's like a prog rock concept album. It has 3 songs on each side that are each 12.5 minutes long. With some kind of reverb action going on for about 5 solid minutes. That sounded really good to the guys in engineering while they were all tripping on acid. Yeah, that.
Jeffrey Wolf says Max says it to Magnum before he gets blown up in the Ferrari. Time has little to do with infinity and jelly donuts, Jeffrey Wolf. Wow, interesting. Thank you, Jeffrey Wolf, for that. Hail, Tyron Beard. Good to see you, mate. So D. Oberg says, with a $2 super chat, what time would you like to visit and why? I always give the same answer because honestly, it's the truest answer I can possibly give. I mean, if I had a snap call and it was like, where do you want to visit? It would be like 1965, Hollywood, California, the Desilu production lot as they are filming on Star Trek. Maybe 1966. I mean, they were airing in 66, but they were shooting probably late in 65. Okay, like mid 1966. So I could see them filming some of the classic episodes of Star Trek. I could have walked the sets. That would be where I would want to go, D. Oberg. That would be where I'd want to go. How about you, Gary? Where would you want to visit and why?
I'd want to go to where George finishes the book so I could read the ending. So I could get the goddamn ending. That's it.
Well, that would be going forward then.
Yeah. Can I go forward? I can't go. If I went back.
I mean, if you went forward to where George R.R. Martin finishes the books, there might be no destination and you might just spiral for all eternity, dude.
Yeah. I'd want to be, if I had to go back, I'd want to be at Abbey Road Studios when Pink Floyd and the Beatles were there at the same time.
Ooh, damn. Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh my God.
Just sitting, just being a fly on the wall.
Oh, that's true, man. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, you're right. Mr. Mills is saying The Cage was filmed in 1964. Yeah, but I wouldn't want that. I'd want to see Shatner and Nimoy and DeForest Kelly and and the actual Enterprise, not the Cage Enterprise.
DeForest Kelly, just meeting DeForest Kelly.
It would be so
awesome. By all accounts, like the dude was just back when actors were like regular folk. And he was just a good person, and I'm a big Bones fan. So
yeah, me too. But that is a great. I mean, you're right. If I could have gone back to Abbey Road and listened to the Beatles recording some of these classic albums, I'd be like scared as shit that my presence might change the take or something. But
that when I went to London, that was the first place I went to. Melissa had to go teach a class. I put a backpack on and I got my little tube map, and I'd never been on the tube before. I got on the tube and stared at a building for 2 hours. And
Wow.
the traffic's really bad on Abbey Road. There's like lots of cars. It's not bad, but there's, you can get hit. And it was
Right.
me and a Japanese tourist. We couldn't understand each other, but we were speaking in Beatles language, like our
Yes.
albums and stuff. And we took pictures of each other walking across the street. It was great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to go there. I mean, everyone was there. Abbey Road. The funny thing is there's a story about James Taylor, who was produced by George. I think it was produced by George Martin. I don't know, maybe not. But he was at Abbey Road recording one of his early albums. And after he had finished up, he goes back in the actual control booth and sees George Harrison sitting there listening to him. Wow, it's like holy shit,
That's weird.
And the song that he was recording then was his song "There's Something in the Way She Moves," and he says, turns out George Harrison liked this song so much he wrote it again.
He wrote it again. George was known for that.
Well, it's an entirely different tune, but
it is, and it's better in my opinion.
Love that
but,
phrase. I think
no, George got so good as time went on. I think he was like the most improved. Well, he might have been always that good, but maybe he was but his later work with the Beatles is genius.
Oh, it is. It is. And Cthulhu Bob tells us, don't forget Alan Parsons.
Don't forget Alan Parsons, the engineer.
Oh,
the
man.
engineer.
Did you ever see that, the making of, Dark Side of the Moon? It was, on, what was it called? It was a TV show, Inside Classic Albums or something like that. And
yeah.
Album. Remember that?
Well, you could see them partially recording Dark Side of the Moon in Umaguma, right? Now, again, this is something I watched when I was a teenager. And it's the no, I didn't watch it as a teenager. I watched it. I was sober when I saw this. I was working at the warehouse, and I believe it was it was Umaguma. It was not Umaguma, but it was God dang it, was it Live at Pompeii?
Really?
Were they filming where they had some studio. One of the damn Pink Floyd movies has them in the studio recording.
Wow.
Dark Side of the Moon. It's awesome, and it might have been portions of Live at Pompeii or something like that.
Wow, that's interesting.
The chat will correct me. It was one of those, they had a couple of movies back then, and I just rented them over and over again on VHS and just watched them. Because I, went through a major Pink Floyd phase of my life.
I love Pink Floyd,
Yep.
and I love Dark Side of the Moon, and it was so cool on this special, Inside the Classics or something. And Alan Parsons like at the big control board, and he's like, oh yeah, and he's like pulling down these levers, and you hear you hear him constructing the sound, and he's notching out individual tracks and instruments. And he said in a story which ties back to what we were talking about earlier, how the band during and routinely break at a certain time to go watch Monty Python. And so Alan Parsons would then be left alone to go ahead and start, messing with this stuff. And also, it's really cool listening to, God, I forget, was it Waters? I don't know. Just on a guitar. And he just had a guitar, and he was saying, well, really, Money is just a blues song. And, he's just doing this kind of blues thing and singing it just with him and a guitar. It was just so cool.
It starts out very much as a blues song. If you hear some of the demos and stuff, it's way more groovy, and then it gets a little. I don't know what term you would use, but no, awesome. I love playing that song on the bass. I mean, it's easy, but it's fun.
Yeah, and we should talk sometime. We got to go on here, but sometime we should talk about the Dark Side of the Rainbow, about syncing syncing up Dark Side of the Moon and playing it twice with the Wizard of Oz. I've seen it. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and it points to me the underlying consciousness of and non-duality of the universe, that these kinds of bizarre synchronicities can happen. Because I swear to God, it's like spot on.
It's bizarre.
I mean, I mean, so much. When she opens up that door and walks into Munchkin Land, and the whole like movie turns to color, and suddenly those alarm clocks go off, and it's a doom, which is totally different than anything in this album up to that point. There's nothing like that up until that moment.
The only scientific explanation I could come up with is that there's math to everything. And that was kind of when I was practicing on the bass forever, and just, in that unless you're a virtuoso, anybody out there who learned an instrument, you go through that practice phase, and then something clicks in your head, and all of a sudden shit starts working. And it's from all of your practice, but you understand the mathematics of it. Basically, it starts formulating in your head. I don't know. I mean, I never learned how to read music. I'd play everything off of ear. And one day it just started working for me. And it was that quick. It was like I was having kind of a hard time and struggling, still able to play stuff, but didn't like sound that great or well timed. And then one day, boom, all of a sudden I can just play anything I hear. And I was talking to one of my bandmates, and he was talking about, he's one of those very deep thinkers. He's all, no, it's the mathematics of life, dude. Everything's math. Everything's beats. Everything's timed.
That's true.
And maybe that's what's behind Wizard of Oz. Maybe there's just maybe it just synced because there is a baseline basically for art and life and music, and it just, they matched up. Or it could be just
Amazing.
a really weird coincidence.
Or it's just the consciousness of the universe does this kind of thing all the time, and it's just accidental that some hippie noticed it. That's it.
Yes, because he did a lot of drugs.
But there's no way it was deliberate. No way. No.
Was
it? But I mean, my God, it is spot on.
It's weird.
It is spot on. Like when the scarecrow is dancing around and they say you've got to keep the loonies on the path. I mean, and black, when later on, when the Wicked Witch suddenly appears on the yellow brick road in a big puff of smoke. I mean, come on, man. Apex Tyrannus with Samantha Joe, thank you for the super sticker rose. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat says traveling back in time is impossible. All we know about physics tells us this. But traveling forward in time is very possible by time dilation. Using natural and man-made black holes, we can stop time. And he adds with another $10 super chat. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus. He says, we can push a large group of humans into the future by millions of years by placing them near an artificial or natural black hole, or by accelerating them to nearly see in a giant space-based ring. These are true. Absolutely. I mean, that's science. There's no question about it. But I've read many times physicists puzzling over why the so-called arrow of time only flies in one direction. From what I understand, the math, there's nothing in the math that says why time should only flow in one direction. It just does. And nobody's really come up with a satisfactory explanation as to exactly why that is. It's very odd. But yeah, man, you could definitely listen, the intense gravity near an artificial or black hole would, just emphasize, relativity to a, hyper accelerated extent. And by the time you got out of there, millions of years, could theoretically have passed. I mean, actually, when you're traveling at sea, like photons do, time ceases to operate. In other words, from my understanding, when a photon leaves the sun, it takes 8 or 9 minutes to travel to the Earth. But for the photon, no time has passed, Gary. No time has passed. How weird is that?
I would say that right now, according to what we understand of the universe, it seems impossible. But, it depends. If we're around for another 1,000 years, I think the only thing we'll never be able to figure out ever is consciousness and definitely like bringing somebody or something back from the dead. And even if we do, and it's like a copy, like they did in stupid Star Trek Picard, it's a copy. It's not you.
Right.
It's not really you. So that copy, it's not like you would die and then you would wake up again. No, it would be a copy of you waking up again.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be you. That's
right.
my belief. So
yeah, Picard is not Picard in the robot. Of course, he never was on this show. He's fucking JL, right?
Yep. I mean, goddamn that. Don't get me started on it. So fucking stupid.
It's bad.
And then what's dumber is the people eating it up. So there's fewer and fewer of them. So that does me that good. That's good.
Yeah. Picard turned into a Cylon, says Vian Anakin.
Yep. He did.
Oh man. Mr. Gentleman. Hail Mr. Gentleman with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says you both need to see Steins Gate, an all-time great. I've been told about that. Steins Gate. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. I've got it bookmarked, but I've never seen it. Have you ever seen Steins Gate?
Nope. People have recommended it though.
I have not either. Heirs of Chaos, thank you for the super sticker of the little birthday cake with the candle in it. Happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is.
Somebody's birthday today.
Mine. Is it your, huh?
No, I said it's somebody's birthday today.
It's got to be somebody's birthday today. Oh, that'd be weird
if we found in 9 months.
One day when there was no birthday. That would be scary.
That would be. Do you think it's had to have happened?
I can't imagine that it would happen in 8 billion, where there's a day where there's no birthday, where nobody was born.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be weird.
Well, yeah. And as I said before, in about 9 months, there's going to be a lot of people born.
Oh yeah, in 9 months it'll be baby boom of a different kind. Thank you, Mr. Gentleman. Apex Tyrannus, as always, your observations are thoughtful and fascinating. And I will go ahead and go back in time.
Yeah.
I will time travel on Twitter and look at the stuff that you sent me. I apologize. I am overwhelmed damn near every day. Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Says reality as we know it is an aggregate of observation. Yes. That is true. And it's a consensus hallucination, really.
I'm having a good time for most of it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of us are not, but I'm glad that you are. But the simple fact of the matter is reality is constructed in our brains. I mean, we take all these different stimuli and impulses, and they coalesce in our heads into the observed reality that we experience. But the weird thing is, we always live in the past. We always live in the past because it takes us a certain amount of time. It's a small amount of time, but it's a certain amount of time to construct reality in our heads, to take the signals and input and go ahead and confirm in our minds, construct a version of reality that's always behind, which is really, really weird, because then how do people like hit baseballs? How do people hit these tennis ball serves that are going at 138 miles an hour?
That's why they make millions of dollars when you're good at it. It's your perception is a little better. That's
weird.
It's yeah. That is kind of trippy, because
we live in the past, dude.
We do, because we have to take in everything, and that's a process, and it's probably a nano of a nanosecond, but it's still in the past.
And yet it is in the past. Weird,
man.
Living in the past. Thank you, Psycho Dwarf 9. Lucas Bachman with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Lucas. Says, have you guys seen the 90s show Time Tracks? I have not. That kind of thing, it looked kind of cheesy to me. Have you ever watched it? Is it any good?
No. Mrs. Nerdrotic's seen it. She loves bad 90s shows.
Does she?
Thing. Yeah.
Does she like
I'm not saying it was
Nightman?
bad. It was, I don't want to say it's bad because I didn't see it. So that's her thing though. She
Time
hasn't seen
track.
Nightman, no, but like Sliders is one of her all-time favorite shows. That's not a bad show. That's actually a good show.
Yeah, no, I've
But
heard that
yeah,
that's really good. And yeah, I love Nightman, but we already talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
Nightman rules.
It's hilarious.
Yep.
It's so bad. And I found out that the reason why Nightman flies so bad in the show, I heard it from a Knight Rider companion himself, because he spoke to Glenn Larson, excuse me, about it. And basically the reason why Nightman on the TV show flies like he's being carried by an invisible cat who's carrying him by the scruff of the neck, so he's kind of semi hanging down at a funny angle, it's because the comic books, I think it was DC, got in touch with them and threatened to sue because they didn't want him flying around like Superman, and he already looked too much like Batman. So the best that they could do is, well, he doesn't really fly. He's kind of using this anti-gravity thing and just kind of
DC
hanging.
DC can. Oh my God.
So that's why. I always just thought it was incredibly fucking lame, but there was a reason for it.
There's an IP reason for it.
Yes. Yes, I found it charming. I like that. I like that.
It is, and that gives you a little insight of how hard it is to make stuff.
Yeah, it's very hard, very hard. Unfortunately, that's the reality. That's showbiz, right?
That's showbiz.
Mac X with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says you should talk about time traveling Donald Trump. Huh? I don't know anything whatsoever about time traveling Donald Trump. I have no. Is that even a thing, or did somebody
never heard of it?
Has anyone actually heard anything about that? I don't think that's true.
Is it a meme? Is it? Yeah, it might be a thing. I mean, I'm not aware of all things on the internet, obviously. So,
is he John Teeter?
John Teeter. I'm the best time traveler ever.
The best.
Excellent machine.
It's very, very excellent time traveling. It was perfect. That's funny. Mac X, I'm sorry. I should talk about time traveling Donald Trump. I just don't know what to say. I've never heard of this thing. I think that's funny. Kick-Ass Johnson says you hit the baseball or the tennis ball because of your subconscious mind.
There you go.
I think what you are is you're tapping into the non-duality of reality. So even though you don't actually know where the ball is and you can't physically process reality fast enough to effectively hit that ball, you are the ball. And so innately you know where it is and you can hit it.
Yeah, I mean it's like any good driver, any good pilot, any good tennis player, any good baseball player. I was a very good racquetball player in my day. I got very good at racquetball. Your tool, your racket or your car or your motorcycle or your bat feels like an extension of your body. It just feels like one of your it feels like just an extension on your arm, like it's part of your body. That's the way it's been related to me.
Yeah.
I got to speak to the late great Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest hitters of all time, and that's what he said.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. Snake 56 says, do you remember that old picture from the early 1900s of a strange woman holding a smartphone? There have been some really weird, anomalous photos that would seem to possibly indicate some kind of time travel if they are not hoaxes. Now, I'm dubious about that, but yeah, it's out there. I'd love to show that picture, but I don't know how to.
There's things that are right. I mean, this doesn't have really anything to do with time traveling, but we've covered it before. Out of place artifacts, spark plugs in encased in rock that's millions of years old. And archaeologists just ignore it. That's the only thing they can do. I mean, how the hell do you explain that?
Yeah.
And there's multiple occurrences of this. Now, some have been fake, but a lot have not. And I guess there could be some weird freak of nature where rock formed over a short period of time, but that generally doesn't happen. And yeah, so there's
very, very weird. Of course, those could be artifacts from an entirely separate civilization that was annihilated, right?
Yeah. Or the Earth has been around long enough to where civilizations could have risen and fallen that we've never heard of. There could have been slee stacks. I mean, no, we've found evidence of this. We know there was dinosaurs, and but there's a big blank spot in our history, our human history. That what the hell were we doing the first 140,000 years? What were we doing? Then something that all of a sudden we just turned on one day. And then later on, we turned on and more, and somebody hit another switch, and it's like, hey, let's farm. I'm tired of hunting.
Yeah, you've said that before about hey, let's farm, and we talked about maybe it was like some primitive rock tubers standing sitting together on top of a cave, like yelling out a show, and then one of them with a beard says, "Why don't we farm, dude?"
This is one of the things. Yep. This is one of the things they were originally exploring in Westworld when it was interesting, was the trauma that the androids were going through is what made them conscious. And that was that's a real thing, by the way. And they abandoned that, of course. And that's too bad. It's too bad.
It is a shame. Yodam Darkstar, thank you for the super sticker of the whacked out little happy face there. That guy is zonked, man. That guy is Strawberry Fields forever. There's no doubt about it. One of the things I love about rock and roll musicians is that they're, idiots. And I love Led Zeppelin. I've always loved Led Zeppelin my whole life. But, that lyric, I am a traveler of both time and space. Who isn't?
Right?
Who the fuck isn't? I'm traveling through time and space right now. It sounds grand, but it doesn't.
Well, Jimmy Page stole a bunch of music too. I mean, they still did a great job with it, and I love it. And a lot of rock and roll is just repurposed blues songs that, hey, they were just out there. But Jimmy Page did take a lot of music. He did.
Well, I would like to know about more of that. I don't know anything about that.
Well, the Yardbirds, I mean, he did basically take the songs that he co-wrote and redid them from the new Yardbirds, but then there's other stuff that goes way beyond that. There's Stairway to Heaven, and I'm sure the chat will start chirping going, yes, and it doesn't change my view of them. I still love the band. So Physical Graffiti is one of my all-time favorite albums. Period.
Oh yeah, I love Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
Love them. Michael Henley with a $12 super chat and talking about the final countdown. Thank you, Michael, very much. Very generous of you, my friend, today. Appreciate it. Says it was a storm that sent them back, and before they can stop the Pearl Harbor attack, the storm reappears.
Yes. That was it.
Spoiler.
You just ruined a movie that we probably can't even find on a streaming service. Oh, we probably can. Let's see.
That's all right. Hail Michael Henley. No, that's so it was not the Philadelphia experiment. It was a storm. It was a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour.
When was the first time you heard of the Philadelphia experiment? When did that?
Oh God, that would have been Art Bell, probably. Probably would have been Art Bell. It had to have been.
Mine was prior. I came across it. Art Bell was going on in the 80s too, but I wasn't listening to him.
I listened to him in the 90s.
I heard it in the
2000s, really.
I believe it was Charles Berlitz's The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Or Limbo of the Lost. Remember that book?
No.
Yeah, there was a book called Limbo of the Lost, and it had lettering on it similar to Chariots of the Gods. It was like red letters on a white cover. I don't remember who wrote it, but I think it was also the same. I think it was Charles. Yeah, check it out. But yeah, you may be right. It may have been because I did read that book about the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh,
which I mean, a lot of that is interesting, and the Philadelphia experiment is very interesting. Although I've read stuff subsequently that the Bermuda Triangle was pretty much bogus. That it doesn't really have any higher concentration of disappearances than anywhere.
Well, Flight 19 is bizarre. That's a
oh
bizarre
yeah, for sure.
So it
For
had
sure.
there's something, but yeah, I think that stuff happens like all over the ocean. I don't know if
Right.
it's concentrated. I totally agree with you, but that is a great book.
Yeah.
That sets you on your path for UFOs, ancient
Yeah.
civilizations, everything. Charles, that was my very first purchase on Amazon, by the way.
Well done.
Yeah, you can go back and look at all your purchases on Amazon. They have a record of all of it. And I'm like, how long have I been a member of Amazon? Like since it started, since its first year. So like decades. It's weird.
Son of a gun.
So weird. But you can find the final countdown on Tubi for free. And
Tubi
for free. Tubi and Voodoo it's on there for free.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll check it out. Why not? I can't believe though that they don't get to stop. Of course. Of course, I can believe they can't stop Pearl Harbor, because then for the movie they would have had to stage Pearl Harbor, and that would cost money.
That would cost money.
So the storm reappeared and saved the producers money. And Charlton Heston said, "It's a miracle," or was it? It was who was in it? You said Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen.
Yeah. And so then Martin Sheen is transported by the storm to Vietnam, and he's like, "Saigon, shit."
Yep, it was a hit. Well, kind of a hit. Its budget was $12.5 million, and it made $56.6 million at the box office.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
But still, staging World War II, and Pearl Harbor, it's expensive. They couldn't do it.
I can't remember how the Winds of War did it. Remember that a miniseries? The Winds of War? Yeah.
I haven't seen it though. That's
I
what's
loved
his name?
it.
Walk. What's his name? Herman
Oh,
Walk or something like that.
Herman Woke.
Yeah.
He's woke. He was woke.
He's woke.
No, yeah, I think that was his name. God, that was good though. I remember loving it when I was a kid. It probably is terrible now, but that and the North and the South. That's that miniseries with Patrick Swayze.
Right.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Yes. Love that
Dirty
one.
Civil Warren. I had the time. And Larry says, show clips from Tora. Well, that would have been the way to do it.
Yeah.
Michael Henley says, I lose my breath laughing here more than anywhere else. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. That's one of the reasons why we're bringing the Inquisition twice a week as well, because we know folks need entertainment right now, and we're going to do our darndest to provide it. So hopefully
we're funny. Funny how? We're funny how? Do we amuse you?
What are we fucking funny?
What,
you think we're funny? Like I'm a fucking clown or something?
No, man. I appreciate that. Tyron Beard with a $5 Australian super chat. Thank you, brother. Hi, cheers, mate. And he says, so glad to see the ExoZone back. This is my first stream on my new laptop, mister. It's next level sexy. Thank you, gentlemen, and hail to the freaking chat. Hail Tyron Beard.
Tyron will be gentle with your laptop.
We're being gentle. We're breaking in your new laptop. Knock, knock, knocking on laptop's door. Hail Tyron Beard.
Hi. Sorry, I'm doing the Guns N' Roses version.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. God, I love Knocking on Heaven's Door. Man, what a recording. That's a song that's way too short. It needed like an instrumental and then one more verse or something.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, it needed to be like a 10-minute song. So I agree. Guns N' Roses made it long. I think they did because of Slash's solo. But
yeah, but it's Guns N' Roses.
I love Guns N' Roses.
I like them fine, but I don't know. It's not Bob. I mean, that version is just so stripped down and just.
Oh my God, where is it with you when I triggered proper? I think proper Jeremy's still triggered when I said that Axl sounded like shite. I was listening to their Halloween. I had been waiting for them to reunite forever. All right. I never thought it would happen. And they did. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. So I was going to listen to him on Sirius radio. And I couldn't. Now, Axl sounded good when he sang for AC/DC for a little while.
Yeah.
And then he sounded like shit. I was like, oh, so I was about to buy tickets. I'm like, I'm not paying $200 for that. Hell no. And then I mentioned it on the stream. I think I was with you, and proper Jeremy to this day will not let me forget that. He's all, Axl is a god. How dare you say that?
Oh dear. I think you made him change sex and run off and join the circus, and it's still not right. He's still not right.
Hail proper Jeremy.
Hail proper Jeremy. Old Axl Rose.
Where do we go now? Where do we go?
Scottish Nerd with a £2 super chat. Hail Scottish Nerd, who says Time Tunnel was a great show.
Time Tunnel, yes.
Oh, look. Okay, I love Time Tunnel. I love the set. Oh God, I love that set so much. That those concentric ovals like going off into infinity, and Lee Merriweather and the scientist code and the bald guy that sat next to her whose name I don't know, but Lee Merriweather. And then you also the Johnny Williams theme song. I mean, that's great. The animation, the titles, everything. But oh my God, Doug and fucking Tony, every fucking week, they jump right into a battle with Romans or cowboys or just, and they do some fisticuffs because, of course, they're great at fisticuffs because they're fucking scientists, man. They're scientists. Then they get in a scuffle, and then they find out, oh, it's Custer. Oh, it's Julius Caesar. I mean, it's always somebody important. It's never some dumb, like, fucking, turnip farmer on, bumfuck, little, plot of land outside of Lancashire. It's just so dumb, man.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
But when you're watching it, when you're like 6, it's like, wow, it's like Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost was like, I thought that was the greatest show ever. It didn't look dumb to me. Yeah, I love the whole concept of it. And it's kind of the Will Ferrell movie was all right, but I would love to see them, like, if you're gonna. I've always been. I don't mind rebooting stuff if it was bad to begin with. And then you can improve the concept, and I think that would be a good one. You could,
you could
be a lot of fun with the series.
It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Scottish Nerd, I'm not making fun of your taste. I just I love it too. I mean, I watch it. I just know when I watch it that it's dumb. But God, that time tunnel, I'd love to have that facility. Wasn't it great? What an image.
Yeah.
That's what I love about 60s design.
Yes.
It was so clean. It was so
Batcave. The Batcave was so badass.
Oh man, it's great.
I want my house to look like the Batcave.
Oh, me too. Me too. Well, I fantasize someday, when I take over the world, I'm going to have like a base, a house that's like a normal, castle. And levels going down in the ground, and one level will be, the set of Star Trek in the 60s. Okay. And, it's like a home theater on the bridge. I can work the stuff from the remote control is in the captain's chair. Beautiful stereo and everything. Great picture. But I also want the Batcave for sure. For sure. Be able to slide down that bat pole. Holy crap.
Oh.
God. I love it. I love it that they have an atomic reactor down there.
Yes.
They need one. It's important.
You gotta have one. You never know.
It's so dumb. Sam Whiskey with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Sam. Good to see you, brother. He says, Hail Doomcock and Nerdrotic. Check out Red Dwarf's time travel episode, the JFK Association. I don't think I've seen that one. There are a number of, I saw seasons 1 through 8, and then I haven't seen since, although my dear friend has sent me the remaining episodes, so I am ready, poised to continue onward, but I'm trying to rewatch the whole series again so I can go forward and know stuff. Dude, the JFK Association, I will check it out. Thank you, Sam Whiskey. Agent Pepsi 1 says, my house is from the 60s. I love the design. They had great design back then, man. I mean, look at the goddamn worthless junk chaos of the ships in Star Trek Disgracery versus the Klingon cruiser, the D7 cruiser, or the Enterprise itself, right? By Matt Jeffries? Fuck that. Insane, dude.
The best looking ship was the bird of prey.
No, it was beautiful. Yeah. And now it's just like they all look the same. Just a bunch of junk, like
that. The Romulan ships at the end look terrible, and then the Federation ships. I mean, as I said in my review, I am no Trek yards. Okay, so they all looked the same. I guess there was. I don't know if I'll have to go back and look when I do my review, but it just. Dude, Star Trek has the best ships. It had the best ships. And it's so disappointing.
It really is. I mean, I have the Enterprise everywhere. You would laugh. I've got one right here. I'm touching it. I've got the Excelsior. I've got the Enterprise C here. I can see, I mean, everywhere. I'm obsessed with the Enterprise. And you look at it, you really look at it, and it's a bizarre thing. I mean, it's a strange design, but somehow it just works. You know, when I try to analyze it, I like, this is fucking wacky, but it really is a classic. I want to thank Yodam Darkstar, who has unleashed a unicorn along with Robert Lovito. We've got unicorns in the chat. Rampaging, free and wild and free. Thank you. Bionic Belly Button has launched one as well. Oh my God, we're here. Thank you all very much for that. Eli Caro with a $2 super chat says, fellow musician, what instruments do you guys play? I played the guitar, but not very well. So, and I haven't played in a long time, but I think I still could. Yeah, I guess the guitar. Mostly a singer though. And you play the bass, Gary?
I play bass and drums.
Bass and drums.
Yep.
Jeez. So we have like a little band we could put together.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I haven't touched I have a crappy practice bass that I always play, and then a Rickenbacker that I haven't touched in a couple of years. I'd like to, but yeah.
Well, hail Yodam Darkstar and Robert Lovito again. It was unleashed more unicorns in the chat. And somebody was asking about Tracy Torme. There were some technical difficulties with Tracy. I'll be talking to him later though. So don't worry about that. But yeah, it was nobody's fault, just some technical difficulties. So there you go. Thank you, Eli. Nettled Nerds with a $2 super chat says, what the hell? You guys were ghosted till just now.
No, I'm not surprised. That's why the ExoZone is going to be tough for us in the future, folks. We're going to have to figure out probably a podcast option. I don't know. But as it stands right now, the way the algorithm is, YouTube has been ghosting streams. And I noticed that the High Council was ghosted. We were ghosted last time we were on. Anna was ghosted. The Jack Show was ghosted. And that's just the ones I've seen. Other people have told me other things as well.
Son of a bitch.
I don't understand it because none of my streams on my channel, we're handling light or fair, have been ghosted. So I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. I mean, some of mine have been ghosted. I will just say, folks, I am starting to, as a public service, I am posting every single live stream I do or every video that I release over on patreon.com/doomcock. These are public posts. They are free. So anytime you're wondering when I am going to stream or when I've got a video that's come out and you haven't got a notification, go to patreon.com/doomcock. Public free posts there about my schedule and what I've done. Because this shit gets old. I'm sick of it. Thank you, Voodoo Priestess. Hello. Thank you for the Farty Hardy super sticker there. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much. And Cardinal Sin, yes, you've got dibs on drums. So Cardinal Sin wants to drum. You can do bass. I can do guitar. We can have a lot of fun. Thank you, Nettled Nerds, for letting us know about that. Darth Bredicus with a $2 super chat. Hail Darth says the only thing that's impossible is impossibility. Amen. God, that sounds like something Baron Munchausen would say. Thank you, Darth Bredicus. The Feedoc with a $2 Australian super chat. Thank you, the Feedoc says, hail Gary and my liege from locked down Queensland. Locked down Queensland. Hail to the Feedoc. And thank you, my friend, for being here. I'm sorry. We're all kind of locked down. We're all going a little bit stir crazy, but hopefully the ExoZone helps with that just a little bit. And the Inquisition as well. Sam Whiskey has a valid point here with a $1.99 super chat. Thanks, Sam. He says daylight savings time is time travel. It's time travel I fucking hate. I want this to stop. I'm so sick of it. It always comes at the worst time, and it makes me tired. It makes me miserable, and I hate it. So let's cut it out.
What? Oh, stupid daylight savings time?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not farming anymore. Can we
No.
just knock it off? I mean,
It
just keep it. Don't go back. I mean, they moved it up a month, and now so it's what, like 3 months. Like, stop. Kids they worry about kids waking up and going to school in the dark. Well, start school later.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm so sick of it. I just need it to stop. Jeffrey Wolf asks our opinion on the moon. I think it's artificial and it's unnatural. And it's got stuff on the surface that we can't explain. Or we can't explain with aliens or something. Time travel, I don't know. What do you think? Just in a nutshell.
No, the moon is artificial. It's impossible. You want to talk about something that's impossible? The moon.
Yep. Agree entirely. And Live Fire, I just got your article about time symmetry and the laws of physics, which with this $5 super chat, thank you very much, Apex Tyrannus, says, we just figured out your question about the arrow of time this year, Doomcock. Time symmetry and the laws of physics. Twitter messaging it to you now. I've got it. I will read it. I'm fascinated by this stuff. Thank you so much, Apex Tyrannus. Apex Tyrannus is a really smart guy. He knows his stuff, and it's always a pleasure to have him in our ExoZone chats. Don't you think, Gary? I think he's amazing.
Yes.
Really talented guy. Very smart. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus, very much. I will enjoy reading this article, and I will get back to you on the other stuff that you sent me as well, now that it's been pulled up. Ashley Harmon with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ashley, says, if we are always in the past, does that mean Doomcock is just a cover-up and Harvey is who's really under the mask? Has the button already been pushed?
Ashley Harmon? That is anti-Harvey propaganda of the worst kind. Trying to say there is no need to push the button. Harvey is already free. I assure you, Harvey is not already free. I will ask you this, Ashley Harmon. You can prove this to yourself with a simple experiment. Go into the bathroom, pull down your pants, and look into the mirror. Do you see lipstick on your butt from where you have kissed it goodbye? If you don't, Harvey is still not free.
Oh, that sounded very sad, Harvey. But yes, that's a valid point. If you have not kissed your ass goodbye, that means Harvey is still bundled up. Good night, Apex Tyrannus. Thank you for being here. Science is for sharing, he says. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to reading this. Matt G with a unicorn, stampeding Sam Whiskey with another unicorn. Felipe Abrigo, hello, my friend. Oh, dude, that's right. I got to get on that. Okay. Let's push forward. Thank you, Matt G, for that unicorn. Loquacious Primate with 2 super chats in a row, a $10 one and a $5 one. And Loquacious Primate, who is also very scientifically and philosophically minded, says, in Feynman's QED, different from many worlds, which takes the sum over all possible paths a particle can take. Some go back in time, which we observe as antimatter moving forward. Normally they cancel, but we can increase light reflected from a mirror by removing the parts of paths which cancel. So we may be able to exploit the same trick for time. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally agree. Did
How?
not understand a thing he said.
I'm just kidding. I was like, wow, you're going to explain that? Holy shit. That is weird. So yeah, they can cancel. You can increase the light reflected from a mirror, yes, by somehow removing the parts of paths which cancel. Because the paths will cancel each other out. Like waves that have wave interference as they spread out. We might be able to exploit the same trick for time. Wow, Loquacious Primate, you, sir, are not only a legionnaire, you are a brilliant, brilliant man, and it's an honor to know you, Loquacious Primate. Fantastic stuff. I'll have to look up that and think about it. Maybe send me something loquacious. I like to read that. Lucas Bachman with a $2. That was cool. Lucas Bachman says, FYI, Time Track Show had John Teeter time travel rules. See, John Teeter has infiltrated our culture.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. That fiction basically was catchy. It started a lot of memes. What an intelligent and fascinating contribution to our lore. Even if it's complete bullshit, it penetrated. And I just love that. I think that's so cool, man. That's so cool. Jaron Jones with a $2 super chat saying, Led Zeppelin rules. Damn right. God, I love Kashmir. I love that song. Hail Jaron Jones, Led Zeppelin rules, but Gollum and the evil one stole away with her. Hail Jaron Jones, then hail Led Zeppelin. God almighty. Orville Nation with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Orville Nation, says my 2 favorite YouTubers. Bless you, Orville Nation. You are awesome yourself. And please, folks, go and subscribe to Orville Nation. Good YouTuber, solid guy, great friend of our channels, both of us, Gary and myself. Thank you, Orville Nation. Go subscribe to Orville
JP.
Nation. Absolutely.
That's a can of water, by the way. I'm not cracking open a beer or anything.
Oh, I wouldn't think that. I would have never thought that. Michael Henley with a $11 super chat says, you can have your enemies frozen on another level. You can have your enemies frozen on another level. Of my basement. Yes. Well, that would be good. Like have a matrix-like array where they're frozen and I'm using them as batteries or something. Kurtzman, are you listening? Just kidding. Hail Michael. He wouldn't provide much of a spark as a battery. I'll just say that. Thank you, Michael Henley. God bless you, my friend. And hail to Heiress of Chaos for adding a unicorn to the stampede. It's another unicorn is loose. Oh, dear God. Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere like Chicken Man. Scottish Nerd with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Scottish Nerd. He says, Sunday morning viewing when I grew up. Time Tunnel, Land of the Giants, Lost in Space, and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. First sci-fi before Trek and Who. Those are all very fun and entertaining shows. And they all had incredible design. I mean, the Spinnaker from Land of the Giants, beautiful spaceship. The Jupiter 2, simple, elegant, and iconic. I love it. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the Seaview submarine, one of my favorite models of all time. My pal, my childhood pal, he used to have a yellow Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea submarine. I was envious of it. I wanted to steal it, but I couldn't figure out how to pull off the heist. That's one of the few props I don't have. I don't have a Seaview. Isn't that weird? I got everything else. I should go buy a Seaview somewhere. I've never found one that was affordable and accurate. I don't know. Usually they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scottish Nerd, very much. I like your taste, man. Like I said, I was not making fun. I was joshing good-naturedly. But listen, man, I watch Time Tunnel. I do, and I do love it. And Michael Henley, again, thank you for that suggestion and the super chats today. Felipe Abrigo with a 2,500 Chilean peso super chat. Thank you, Felipe, who says, Lords, I sent you both my 2 first songs by DM on Twitter. One is kind of apocalyptic. The other is optimistic. Hope you guys like it. Stay safe. Yeah, I need to listen, Felipe. I'm sorry. I have not been on Twitter as much. I'm trying to kind of, be more productive and get off of Twitter more. But you reminded me, and I will get on it, Felipe. He also sent it to you, Gary. Have you listened yet?
I have not. I've been constantly working. As a matter of fact, I probably got to bail in a couple minutes because I got to get going on that video. But yeah, I will though. I will tonight when I'm done recording.
Absolutely.
2 in the morning.
And we'll go ahead and wrap this up, folks. We got a few more.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, dude. I understand. I got to go eat. I got to go eat. Drake is 6 with a $2 super chat. Says moon can be explained in electric universe model. So the moon can be explained in the electric universe model. But what about the artifacts on the moon? Drake is 6. What about the artifacts? What about all the transient lunar phenomena, the lights, the mists? What about the astronauts saying, Houston, there is a Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Which was code for there's aliens on the moon. So weird. Oh, that Cracklin. What the hell? A $10 super chat that's very insulting. He says, one theory I've heard is that these strange sounds across the world are the harmony of millions of skin flutes being played across the world. And then he makes a untoward crack about a certain one of us experimenting with playing such a thing while under confinement. I'm not gonna read that, but Cracklin, I don't know, man. I think you're cracking under the strain or something, brother.
Cracklin's got the got that sense of humor. It's all good.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, well, it is funny, but yeah, I wasn't. I'm not gonna read a super chat that's gonna insult my pal here. But if you're all good with it, then that's okay.
I don't take it as a Cracklin is a patron, so and he's a member of the channel, so it's all good.
He said, I think Gary experimented with the skin flute in prison, which I thought is okay, but y'all are cool with it. So.
But no.
You read and you stayed out of the shower and
I stayed out of the shower, did all that stuff. I am definitely not gay.
And Scottish Nerd says, yes, I agree with the joshing, just some childhood memories we can just enjoy no matter how cheesy they would appear today. Absolutely. I love this design sense. I love the photography. Doug and Tony, how do I know their names if I don't like the show, And Lee Merriweather, of course. God, she was, God, she's hot. Nettled Nerds with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Nettled Nerd. Says time is not real because today is over for someone else. Ooh, this day is already over for someone else. I'm spooked. I think I'm officially spooked. Gary, why don't you go ahead and plug your channel?
Well, I come from a channel called Nerdrotic where I cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of pop culture. It's been mostly ugly, and got a comic book video coming out, and Picard stuff. You and I both have Picard stuff coming out. That's unbelievable. If you guys haven't, we're gonna go over an article that I went over it a little bit in my review. It's Shaban. We obviously got to him again.
I've taken it easy on him. Dumb shit. Well, no more.
Not anymore.
Nope.
No. I've got some stuff ready. So
we're gonna tag team that sucker. So please subscribe to Gary's channel.
Cheers.
And subscribe to my channel, please. YouTube.com/OverlordDVD. And the links, the mods have been putting the link in the chat. Hail to all of my wrenches, Mary Ashmead, Chris Persia, the Master Wrencher, Bionic Belly Button, Sandra and Raymond Feliciano, and Lori Wilson out there as well. And hail to Stellar Heather and all the usual suspects. Thank you all for being here today. Even though a lot of you maybe didn't even get the notification. And Mr. Mills asks Lee Merriweather or Julie Newmar. Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar is Catwoman for me. God, she was incredible.
Not even close.
No.
One's a woman and the other one's like, she's a girl. You know,
she's
a girl like who could probably. Yeah, I don't mean to disrespect her. I mean, somebody would do the weather on the news. Merriweather doing the weather. But Julie Newmar is Julie Newmar.
Man. And she had that craziness, you know? She had that crazy kind of quality. I mean, unsettling. She was something. All right, folks, listen, thank you for being here on the ExoZone. Join us this Sunday for the Inquisition. And it's going to be a wild time, man. It's going to be a wild time. We'll be talking about Westworld and Star Trek Picard and the Chaban thing. We got a lot to talk about. And then next week we will start doing Inquisitions as well. And thank you all for being here today. You guys are fantastic. I hope you all had fun. See you tomorrow and on Sunday. From the center of the earth, this is Victor Van Doomcock and Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic Channel bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Good night. And stay healthy too, by the way.